school I attended, but those groups are usually serviced through a call center away in Toronto at a national level. And while our group is available and serviced locally and locally owned and operated, which is nice. And lastly, where we were at kind of was some decisions to be made on our marketing and how you want us to communicate with group members. And so we, Zaire, provide all of the marketing for your approval. And the typical marketing for one of our groups can include, and you can pick exactly how what we include, but they can include brochures, email ads, notes in a BIA newsletter directly from the BIA, electronic ads on Facebook, and posters for lunchrooms or bulletin boards of individual businesses. You can include it in an employee orientation package. We can do on-site quoting events and attend or sponsor social events of some kind. And the last thing we did, I discussed with Trish, is a contest. We usually do some sort of contest, and we thought it would be a cool idea to do a quote draw for BIA bucks to get some money back into the hands of the businesses that'll be members of the program. So we would, members would qualify for the BIA buck draw by completing a quote. And we'd do that probably monthly to start out, but we just kind of put a pause on that until there's some actual awareness of the group and we get the board's approval. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to touch on, I think. Were there some additional questions?
All right, my computer was a little slow there for a sec. So what we'll do, does anyone have any questions for Drew, especially maybe looking more at Dustin since you weren't in the very first initial stuff? Do you have any questions for Drew at all? You're good. Anybody else have any questions for Drew? No? Yes? No? Okay. All right. So what we'll get is a motion to approve their marketing plan. And we can then discuss how we want them to communicate. Trish, did you want to pop on here? There you are.
Hey guys. Yeah, so I just wanted to reiterate that basically what Drew's looking for today is just confirmation that the board is okay with using, you know, brochures, maybe in our new membership packages, or the ability to go door to door. And then we could put an ad in our newsletter. So he's just looking for direction on what would the board like to see for final decisions, so then they can start approaching businesses and the employees of, of the businesses as well. So.
Right.
And so is everybody, with what Drew's talked about, everybody's comfortable with that? They're okay to support their plan? They're going to do it. It's really no work for us. It's just, we're all okay with that?
Yep.
Yep. So that's, we'll take that motion from Dustin and then from Bert. Trish, and have at her. Drew, off you go.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks for your patience with us as we muddle through this. It was our first time sort of.
Oh, no worries.
Coming on here. Yeah, Jeff?
Thanks. Take care.
Oh, hang on, Drew. Wait one sec. Jeff?
No, it's okay. It's not for Drew.
Okay. And I just wanted to pop back. I have too many notes on my desk here. I did miss our approval. Okay, we're good, Drew. Sorry, it wasn't for you. Thank you again.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
I missed our approval of the minutes for the March 11th, 2020, and we should have done that first because Drew was business arising from those minutes. We'll just backtrack that. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes? Did anyone have any questions, concerns? Heather? Seconder for that? Bert? Thank you. Sorry about that. Zaire Insurance was actually business arising from that, so I apologize. And we got that a bit backwards. Next, if you don't mind, we're going to pop the music in the park up and have a discussion. Jeff?
Sherry, can I just say that we think we have Brent in the waiting room, and we're just going to try to add him to the call.
Yes, please.
And we just don't recognize the name on the call. So we're going to ask Carla to add him to the call. And I think, Carla, if we can add the phone number to the call and see if it's a phone in. Good. And we'll just confirm then if this is Brent when we get a connection.
Yep.
Oh, hi, Brent.
Hi.
And Brent, are you also trying to connect with a Samsung phone?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can give you both connections. Would you like the second one as well?
Sure.
Okay, Carla, you can connect the Samsung as well, and we'll be away. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay. Can you hear us okay, Brent?
Yep.
Okay, so so far we just finished up with their insurance. Drew just gave a quick overhaul to bring us back on board with what they're doing, and we approved and allowed them to move on with their marketing. So now we're just we've changed our agenda just so slightly. We're going to take our other business from the bottom of the page up till now, because we only have Heather on with us till 11. So our other business is music in the park. We need to have a quick discussion on where we're at with music in the park. What's your thoughts? Dustin?
When are they going to start lifting the bans? Do we know? Because it's illegal until then, right?
Right. At this point, there's no gatherings more than 5 people. I do believe there's going to be an announcement tomorrow about the stage 1, where they're going with it all. I did hear today that the CNE has canceled for August.
I don't have a lot of faith that they're going to be letting large gatherings happen. Like, I hate to say that even the fair, it's like, could be on the chopping. Like, I know they canceled the Kirkton Fair.
Yes,
or at
and
least from my understanding is.
they've canceled Zurich Bean Fest, which is before us, and they just canceled the CNE, which is the week before us. I don't have a lot of faith in it either.
Like, all of my 2020 weddings are canceled now.
Yeah.
Like, they're all done, right? Like, no one is even trying. So, like, it's kind of gambling if you want to do it still.
I feel like our event is not something that needs a whole lot of organizing necessarily. You know what I mean? Like, we have our bands booked. I think if we cancel them and then they all of a sudden lift everything in July and we can do August, I don't think it's going to be a hard call to get them to come back. You know what I'm saying? Because all their gigs have been canceled, right? So
do you want to maybe just like touch base with all the bands and say, like, tentatively we'll just go by what, like, as long as they're okay with knowing that we'll just go by whatever the guidelines or the restrictions are.
Yeah, and I can, between Trish and I, we absolutely can touch base with all the music and just, they know, right?
Yeah, and then I had an idea, and like, I don't want to dive into it too much right now because I think it'll be better for another time, but doing some sort of like it's kind of a big concept, doing a drive-in theater with somewhere outdoors. So I got a screen, a projector, and all that stuff. I think it'd be a good idea to replace it. That was a thought I was having. You need a large parking lot. And I was looking into the radio transmitters that you need to get, because that would just broadcast all the cars. And there's a lot of stuff to it, but that's the general gist of, if we want to replace with something, that's something I have been thinking about, and we can dive into another time in a whole different conversation.
Yeah, and we have some other ideas. I just had a message here that we could maybe do August and September again, like we did last year. Although it gets dark in September, but we could tentatively cancel July at this point, with the intent that we hopefully can do something in August. And we could even do Labor Day weekend. I mean, if the fair is canceled and for some reason everything comes back out, there's lots of time. Heather, do you have thoughts on this?
No, I agree. I think we need to, and like you said, those bands aren't going to be going somewhere else, right? So I think we can put them on hold. We haven't paid them any deposits or anything that we would lose. Yeah, that would be my thought.
Okay, so what we'll do for now is we'll have Trish put that out through our social media that at this point we're on hold, waiting for the government, and between Trish and I, we'll touch base with all the groups and just, have a chat about, we're hoping, and we'll just have to go it's no secret to anybody. It's, you know, it's pretty out there, right? Okay, perfect. All right, if everyone's okay with that, then we'll stick with that plan for now. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna have Trish do her report and try to get in as much before Heather has to leave.
Okay, so I'll start with the financial report first. There were no financials provided just because 2019 hasn't been closed yet. So the numbers are a little bit skewed when we run the 2020 reports. So I did get a GL, the general ledger provided to me so that we could at least have a rough idea of where we're sitting. So currently in 2020, we've spent $568 on advertising. So that would be that Rec and Leisure Guide ad that we put in for the Shop Local and the Music in the Park, as well as we had to put in notifications about our annual general meeting. So that was a few weeks worth of ads as well. So that went out. There's $126 in meeting expenses. So those would be the food that we provided at our meetings thus far this year. Our OBIA membership was $229. We had to reimburse a business that accepted BIA bucks that are not part of our BIA, so they had accidentally accepted them. So we just reimbursed them $30. And the last two items are Mitchell Office Pro did the printing of the BIA bucks again this year, so that was about $330. And our Constant Contact software, which is what I use to email our membership, so that was $438. So that's the main expenses to date. Any questions on any expenses? Okay, I will jump into my coordinator report. So the first thing I wanted to cover off is the OBIA conference. Heather and I were to go to that conference the third week of April, and it was canceled due to COVID. So I've been keeping in contact with the OBIA just to see if they're going to push it back or cancel it completely. So right now they're looking at re-hosting it in September. So as more information comes, I'll update the board, but it's kind of on hold. Another item we discussed earlier this year was the flower boxes. We submitted a request to have the flowers downtown be blue and white this year for a consistent looking flow through the downtown. So this was approved, and the boxes were dropped off at the garden center early April to get made up. So we will have consistent blue and white colors downtown. The membership, so our associate membership invoices we sent out late last year. This year we sent them out May 1st, and we adjusted the due date because usually it goes out with a month due date. We adjusted the due date to September 1st. With their invoice, a letter was sent from the chair noting that due to the pandemic and these trying times, we wanted to give businesses time to make their payment as we appreciate their membership. So we just like to give them a little bit extra time. So to date, we did lose one associate member this year, but we did gain 2 new associate members. So we gained Scott's Greenhouses in February, and Terry's Auto Service joined in April. So the website's been updated to reflect those changes. I also received a notification earlier this week from Blows and Stewart Travel that effective May 31st, their office in Mitchell will be closing. So they've consolidated their staff and files to the Stratford office, and they'd be happy to serve West Perth community in Stratford or Listowel. They had thanked our community for their support over the years, and I replied to Rob Blows thanking him for being part of our community and sent the business closing thank you letter that we sent out. An update for COVID-19 coverage. So some of the stuff that I've been working on since COVID took over was I came to the board to ask about creating a list of our businesses and associates. And it would be a running list where we would provide an update on where each business stood, whether they were closed, open, offering curbside pickup, that sort of thing. So that list has been updated a few times on the website, and I just updated it again today because we had a significant change in a few more businesses that opened up fully to the public. So what I have done is if they're fully open to the public, their lettering is now green for go. So these are businesses that, again, are open to the public. They can come in and shop. And if the business let me know that there was certain measures in place, then like a limited number of people allowed in the store, I updated that as well, just so they're aware. Other things that have happened is I've sent out newsletters. So what I did is I targeted our newsletters to BIA members and associate members only. So general public subscribers, I didn't issue them any newsletters. I wanted to keep it very specific to our membership to help support them as best we could. So the newsletters had different links to articles with provincial updates. There was a couple letters that came from John Nader in there, updates on our BIA directory, links to West Perth's website, social media, as well as different Perth County initiatives that came through. So they had done a couple surveys, as well as trying to get businesses to update their directory on Perth County's website, so that information was clear. And then yesterday I sent a link to the 2020 spring newsletter they sent out. We have 8 of our businesses. They are either downtown members or associate members that were featured in their newsletter. So that was kind of neat. And then again, social media, different posts on there. We went Facebook Live when there was a resident in Mitchell that had a bagpiper come downtown and play Amazing Grace in memory of the lives lost in Nova Scotia. So that live video reached over 15,000 people with over 3,000 engagements. So that was some nice activity, and we were able to help be a part of spreading that further. The last piece I want to cover off is advertising opportunities. So I would like to ask the board for their opinion and ideas on what we can do to help serve our businesses that remain open and those that remain closed. So although the province is slowly reopening, some of these businesses may open as part of the final phases. Like for example, our hair salons is probably going to be later in the stages. So the Mitchell Advocate did reach out to me to assist with some brainstorming ideas on how they could help with advertising. So we discussed some different ideas, and I was given some pricing on purchasing like a full page ad, and we could pay for that ad and then advertise on behalf of our businesses, or open the space up to our businesses to place their own business size card size ads. Or we could even just do a generalized shop local ad so that we don't miss anybody, just a general broad ad. So I'm just wondering what everybody's thoughts are on what we would like to do to help support the businesses, as we have money in advertising, but we aren't currently working on any initiatives right now.
I think this is a really important piece of why I kind of wanted us to meet today is I think we need to come up with something. We've got a couple new businesses sitting, waiting to open. We have, a business that's decided not to reopen. I think with all of the fair, the baseball, Corn Fest, men's qualifiers is up in the air. We've got so many economic things that are that we usually have a lot of activity coming through Mitchell. I think now more than ever, we need to really see what we can do to support our downtown. Ideas? Thoughts?
It's more implementation than my thought when I threw back out the email with the some style of, I hate to say it, but bingo or whatever, but it's all about implementation is the problem I find with it, because how do you make it work with the way things are going? So
Right.
My thought was some kind of a bingo that was more targeted to the businesses that were open, but I just not sure how logistically we make it work. Like if you remember the bingo cards that were sent out from the county.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm just not sure logistically how we'd actually make it work. So, but because it makes it hard, because you could do receipts off each store, but then it becomes, how do you get them to the people, and how do you make the draws work? So
Mm-hmm.
it's not as easy when you're in this kind of an environment. The old days, if you just rubber stamp the crazy thing. Meredith, jump in.
Yes, please, Meredith.
So just in regards to the bingo, it's not about the purchase, it's about the reminder of all the businesses that we have locally and to support local. And I think that's what you need to shift your brain and start thinking of how we can support our businesses and remind our residents that more important than anything else right now is that we support our local restaurateurs, our entrepreneurs, and all of our small businesses. So it's less about what businesses are on there that are open. It's about keeping that engagement piece active and alive. So like we had huge responses on our bingos. We made one bingo card to start with and then had such a great response. We made 4 more for all of our member municipalities. So it was less about tracking sales and more about keeping that constant reminder that, you know, we come to you as business owners looking for donations for our kids' sports teams. We come to you looking for prize basket donations when we're fundraising for events. So we're coming to you now. If you're offering curbside pickup and practicing safe social distancing, we're going to come to you and we're going to buy and spend our money locally. So I think worry less about the sale and worry, I think what Trish needs to focus on and what the BIA needs to focus on is how can you keep locals, residents engaged. And so I'm going to tell you guys later on, and I'll expand more on it, but we donated and today several thousand pieces of swag promotion, insulated grocery bags, picnic baskets, koozies, and items for all of our businesses that had shown interest for a Proudly Perth County campaign. And I was in Mitchell today delivering stuff to BIA members. So that could use our products to promote, to save costs for themselves and also promote our brand, and just reminding them that we're here for them, whatever they need. So, you know, like you don't need to spend a lot of time worrying about who's open and who's closed and who's not. You can find creative ways to keep everyone engaged and always thinking local, especially now more than ever. We need to support each other and support our neighbors. And so I think maybe you just change that thought process a little bit from that spend to, and I think you'll organically see that spend come.
So Meredith, do you think an advertising campaign is not necessarily the direction we should go in?
Well, I think you can do an advertising campaign. Absolutely. I just think it needs to be something unique to the BIA. And so don't just do a shop local campaign to do a shop local campaign. Do something that's unique to the current situation, that's going to pull at the heartstrings and, you know, remind residents that, you know what, it's worth ordering extra hair products, even though I don't need them right now from the salon, just to have in my house so I can support that salon. Or it's worth making a point of every Wednesday going down to Sugar Maple or BJ's and buying myself a treat more than ever to make sure that that business, one, sees my face and knows that I'm supporting them, and is seeing my money. So something unique to Mitchell, something unique to your downtown.
So maybe we could start by, I know that it's on our website and on Facebook page, who's open, who's not, but could we start with putting that in the paper? I mean, we have a lot of seniors around that do not look at Facebook. They do not look at a website. They look at their Mitchell paper every week. So maybe we could start there, right? Start with just some awareness of who's around, who's still open. Like they probably haven't been out of their houses, a lot of them for a while, you know?
Yeah,
And
my
when things
only,
start-
sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine.
I was just gonna say, my only hesitation with that is that it's rapidly changing. So I've updated the spreadsheet a number of times. So if we came up with like a generalized ad that we could do, but I'm hesitant to say, you know, these are the places open and not open like I have on the website. It could change tomorrow.
Could we focus on the ones that are open now to start?
Yeah.
You know, like put in there that, just a reminder, the post office is only open from 12 to 4. Maybe people don't know that. It's, which I don't agree with, but, you know, it's because the bank has changed their hours.
Yeah, all the banks are
You know,
on super
I-
reduced
Is,
hours.
is it something that would, I don't know, just remind people that the downtown is not closed?
I like Meredith's idea that, you know, we as people come to all the businesses to support our kids' activities or this and that. Now our downtown needs them more than ever. I really like that sort of idea, thought as part of the
So maybe
campaign.
have that as the focus. right?
Yeah, we support you, you know, we support you. Now it's time for you to support us. What about cable TV? Because that's easy to change as well.
Yeah,
That's a
that's,
revolving slide.
yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of seniors see cable,
a lot of them do, yeah, they do.
right?
Oh, you could create part of the static and then always refer back for more details as things are changing daily back to the website, so that you may have what's on there now, but you always know to go back to where it's going to be changing.
I have,
And if we
An
think
update.
about it, Steve, yeah. Okay,
Bye.
Thanks, Heather.
thanks, Heather. If you think about it, stage 1 is going to be announced tomorrow, or the plan to head towards stage 1. We're not going to make next Wednesday's paper anyway, so we will have a little more idea of where we're headed for the paper after that.
Yes.
So you know, so you will have opportunity to adjust depending on what gets said in the next 2 days. We've got until next, Wednesday or Thursday to make the
What-
adjustments.
What if we did
Yeah.
a mailer instead of going through the paper? Because then you get all 4,000 Mitchell and area residents versus 2,000 subscribers or whatever it's down to now, and let everybody know, like a one-page mailer through Canada Post.
Yeah, that to me, that's a great idea if everyone's on board. Because like Heather said too, the older generation too that doesn't have Facebook, they might see cable TV, but again, yeah, something in their hand is nice.
We just find we get a way better return on investment when we mail stuff out through Canada Post than through the newspapers anymore. And especially if you do drip marketing where you do it like 3 weeks in a row or 1 week on, 1 week off, we get a way better return on investment.
And if we take Meredith's advice, or we don't necessarily focus 100% on what's open and what's not, and do it more as a, you know, we support you, we need you more than ever. Because I think we're going to see a lot more over the summer as all of our events are being canceled. Like I said, as Cornfest is canceled, as Music in the Park is canceled, as the men's qualifying, the baseball, all of the things that bring extra people to town. I think we're all going to realize how much we actually rely as businesses on that extra stuff as well, not just the regular day-to-day traffic. You know, the fair brings thousands of people. If we don't have it, that's a big hit for downtown, you know? So I like Meredith's idea of let's work on an ad campaign that's more a generic support. You know, don't forget about us and we won't forget about you. Dustin? You're sort of a business that's affected right at this point. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like the idea of tugging on the heartstrings because I think it's a time when everyone understands that. And I don't think it's out of line to do that. But, and I like Brent's idea too of going directly to everybody because it kind of sucks because you're not using the newspaper, which is a local business, right? So that's kind of maybe not controversial, but you are going to reach more people if you do it directly. And I think doing an honest post, like being proud to be from Mitchell and using Mitchell business, and that's me part of it, I think. I would agree. I think it's a good idea.
Talking about the paper, Dustin just reminded me, Trish, what's the date? Do you know, we have committed to a banner in July for the Advocate, right? Is it June or July?
So we've committed to a banner that would be, I believe it might be the end of June and then the end of July, so that we would it was set for Music in the Park bands in July and then bands in August.
So we could, you know, give Trish the direction to change the June banner to be this promotion as opposed to Music in the Park if it's not going to happen. So we could still, use the paper in that manner. We'll just use it with the banner that we're committed to. And we can change the thought that way.
Yeah.
And it's booked, but we don't
Yeah.
have to really decide on content for like another month. We can start
Right.
working on it. But yeah, I think we have a lot of leeway with that right now. So
Bert, did you have something?
I would go for that because they're right. As the paper has shrunk due to the lack of, I hate to say it, but as sports and some of the other activities has disappeared, the Mitchell Advocate has really shrunk. And I think they're one of the businesses that's going to be really struggling, I think, when they come out of this, because as the paper shrinks and there's less people looking at it, there's less people going to resubscribe to it. So a little bit of help their way wouldn't hurt, but it's one of those things I think we have to watch as well, that we don't commit too much that way, because as Brent said, putting a flyer out is probably a way better way to getting at least 4,000 contacts.
And are you guys okay with maybe trying, once we get the plan, we try the cable TV?
Yeah, I think we
As-
should do cable TV all the time. Like,
Okay, okay. I'm good with cable. Just there's that senior dynamic that we're all talking about. They do watch that cable channel.
Well,
So,
and
and
the
it's,
ones that are staying home, I mean, the TV's on. So, I mean, it's a good exposure point over all the stuff right now.
okay, perfect. Is there anything else anyone wants to add on that? I think that's enough for Trish to get started on. Trish, is that enough direction for you?
yep, that's fine. I'll look into cable TV ads. We can retailer the banner ads in the next few weeks. And then
Okay.
I can start to put a draft flyer together to run by everybody.
And do you want to draft up a music in the park with maybe a banner across it just saying, postponed or wait or something? We can maybe
Yep.
start working on that, just saying we haven't given up, but we're waiting for direction. I don't know. We'll work on that.
Sure. Yep, no
Okay.
problem.
All right, good. I think that was it for Trish, is it? Anything else?
Nope, that's everything for me.
Everything for Trish?
Yep.
All right, and we're gonna move, no more questions, anyone on that? We're good? All right, we'll move on to economic development and tourism. Meredith. Oh, did we lose her?
I'm coming. There we go.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. It's nice to see all your faces. It's been so long since I've attended one of these exciting meetings. And this will probably be the last one I attend for the next year and a half, as I'm going off on my maternity leave in a couple of weeks. But I did want to give you guys a quick update on what the county has been doing, since we do run your economic development and tourism program for the municipality of West Perth and our 4 member municipalities across the county. Just in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, we leapt into action and launched a business survey on the 19th of March, and then a second survey on April 8th. So those 2 surveys were designed to track and have a better understanding of what was happening with our current business community. So the first survey, we had 258 businesses across Perth County complete the surveys, and we were watching the responses as they came in, and we were developing and reacting to the needs of our business community instantly as we moved forward into our lockdown and trying to help support all of our businesses. So then we launched a second survey just to track to see what types of funding was needed, how the businesses were actually being affected as we got deeper into the pandemic and into the lockdown. And then we've also been providing that information to our federal and provincial counterparts. The Western Ontario Wardens Caucus actually reached out to us a few days after we had launched our survey and asked if they could use it as a template and a benchmark for the rest of the Wardens Caucus. So the first survey, 8 or 9 municipalities across the Western Ontario Wardens Caucus, which is, for those that don't know, from Windsor, Essex, all the way to Simcoe County and Barrie, and everybody in between used it. And then we had 14 municipalities, 14 counties for the second survey. So they used our template to collect data. So we have quite a robust collection of information from our business communities from right across Western Ontario, which is great. So, but we've been pushing our information directly to our federal and provincial counterparts so they can make better decisions for our businesses, especially for rural. So that so survey completed. Well, it wasn't even completed. It was still live in action. We developed a resource for businesses page on our website. If you haven't checked it out, go to perthcounty.ca, doing business, and all the links on the staff report. So you can grab the link from there. We then, this was actually a continued, timing was actually pretty good because some of the businesses had identified that they were they wanted to keep their employees engaged and employed, and we're looking for some free online training opportunities. So like some of the businesses, even though it wasn't applicable, took advantage of the Smart Serve certification for their employees. We actually had a continuation on from our cultural competency training last year. We had an agreement with Fanshawe College to launch 3 online webinar series for welcoming communities. So we launched that immediately. It wasn't actually planning on launching until April, but we've had a lot of businesses access that. There is still licenses available. So reach out to Sarah at ecdev@perthcounty.ca. All the information's in your package. If you do want to participate in that training, get a nice certificate. It's Fanshawe College. It's great training. If you are looking for projects to keep your employees engaged, or even yourself right now. We then kicked it into high gear, I would say, at this point, and we launched our Get Your Business Online training. So Ashley Brockelbank, as you all know really well, she sourced out training, and so the county offered training for businesses. We didn't turn anybody away. We had people from businesses from Huron County, St. Mary, Stratford, Bruce County, and all within Perth County as well, participate in those training sessions. And it was to how to get your business online, bringing your business online, and then how to use finding your target market, advertising with Facebook and Instagram, and then advertising with Google and YouTube. So that was really successful. We also then, shortly after that, we launched a training resource page for businesses on our website. So this was it sprouted from the training session of getting your businesses online, is that a lot of businesses identified that they were struggling with trying to figure out how to fill out all the paperwork and stay on top of all of the provincial documentation that was required to get their employees benefits sorted, and wage subsidies, support for themselves as businesses. So Ashley, Sarah, myself, and Maggie have just spent a few days sourcing information of where we could find free training for businesses. So it's constantly, that page is also constantly being updated. Like Sarah's on it multiple times a day, adding more information. It seems like every time there's an announcement, we're scrambling to get that information up and then update it again the very next day because things have changed. So check out the training resource page on our website. We developed a 19 Days and 19 Ways campaign to support local businesses, trying to pull at the heartstrings and encourage residents to shop local while socially distant, practicing safe social distancing. So this actually kind of blew up, and we didn't realize it was just a random let's do this on a Wednesday afternoon. And we had multiple municipalities from across the province reach out to us while we were in day 3 and day 4 asking us for our material because they thought it was such a great campaign. And we saw there were a huge uptick on our social media feeds. So from that, we did the 19 Days in Action, or 19 Ways in Action. So for 19 days, we gave a tip every day. If you haven't checked it out, again, it's on our website. You can see it. Maybe you guys can steal some ideas for your mailer from there. Because we weren't actually promoting specific businesses, but we were promoting practicing safe social distance while supporting local and giving them different opportunities on how to do it, whether it be spending money at stores or providing a review on Facebook, on Google, on TripAdvisor. And then we did 19 Days and 19 Ways in Action. So we did a call out here, and this was an opportunity. I think Sherry participated in it. I know I did, and challenged residents and our followers to tell us what they did over the 19 days to support local businesses. We've been doing Spotlight on Business. This is just a continuation of our regular program, but we've really stayed focused on the businesses that are offering, that are still open and still operating and providing curbside pickups, contactless interactions. So we're really trying to promote those businesses that have really stepped up their game, well, that can. So that obviously we know that there's businesses that just, there's no opportunity to open right now. It's not safe and they can't. So we're just trying to celebrate those that can and that are. So that was one of our campaigns. So that's the regular campaign we run all year long. We've just modified it so it's supporting, and we're only promoting those businesses right now that are currently open, and then we'll get back in the loop the businesses when they are, or other businesses that once they're open. Then we did our Perth County bingo card. It was a lot of fun, Bert. You missed out on a lot of fun since you missed that memo. So we did the Perth County one and then our 4-member municipality one. So this is just really just a way to encourage everybody to think locally, whether it be heading to the wetlands or heading to hike a trail, keeping the planning for the future, and just a fun, cheerful Friday afternoon activity. I do have to say we kind of did get a little bit competitive, challenging our local CAOs. Jeff, I'm proud to say, was one of the best bingo players out there. He had lots of cards full of actions. Carla, I'm going to call Carla out today, it was weak Carla. So Carla's got some day tripping to do with me this summer while I'm off on mat leave. Again, keeping our business directory up to date. So encouraging businesses, and you guys can still do it. It feeds into your business directory. So it's a win-win for everybody of what businesses are doing in response to COVID and what their modified hours are. It's user friendly. They can do it themselves. If they need help doing it, they can call Sarah or myself, or somebody, they can call the economic development line and somebody will help them. So we've launched our video series, the Resilience. I don't know if you've seen them. There's some really good videos out there right now that we've been doing. So our Perth County Proud campaign, remembering the tranquility of Perth County. So that one is going to be launched on the 15th, Friday. And that's kind of a tour of Perth County from your home. And we've been doing our how-to videos. So Jillian's was our how-to video for this week. So we launch our how-to videos every Tuesday. So tune into those. We've got lots of great West Perth businesses on there. So if you haven't checked out Jillian's, it's really good. She's showing you how to decorate, do some creative decorating in your house during these times. We've done a support local video, and this was really a video that we just wanted to pull at the heartstrings and show our support for all of our local businesses, for our frontline staff who are in the grocery stores, our friends, our paramedics, our essentials. It was for our essential workers. So whether that be in healthcare or in our grocery stores or on the front line, we just really wanted to show our support. We did some fun, bright and cheerful Zoom backgrounds, which you can see Sherry's got one of them up, just keeping everybody engaged. So if you're out, having a Zoom call with your girlfriends on a Friday night, or I know my husband's playing a lot of online euchre with his buddies from high school. So, throwing up the Perth County backgrounds has been kind of fun practice and keeping everybody engaged. We modified our newsletter that was launched Monday, and it was a pivot for COVID. So lots of great resources in there, lots of great training, highlighting a lot of the businesses that we have that are practicing safe social distancing and have modified their businesses to help accommodate safe social distancing. Today I dropped off. We quietly messaged all the businesses that we knew who had updated their business directory to let us know that they were doing curbside drop-offs and whatnot. And we handed out over several thousand pieces of swag items to them. So insulated grocery bags, picnic baskets, koozies, things that they could use right now to help their business, and just as a thank you to, so because we know the insulated grocery bags are fairly expensive, so everybody was really grateful. I dropped off some items in Mitchell today. Our Perth County tourism brochure, we're doing a launch, a staycation. We've had to pivot and modify that. They all arrived the week before we were all under lockdown. So we're doing a large campaign for Tourism Week, which is May 25th. So more details to come on that. And watch your mail, because we're doing mailers. And we did a photo contest trying to keep everybody engaged, again, just on our social media. So there was lots of great submissions that now we can use those photos too for future publications. And we got lots of people engaged at thinking about all of the great assets that we have across the county. And we have our Perth County podcast series starting next week, featuring our very talented Sarah Franklin. She's going to be interviewing and chatting with fellow stakeholders about their programs that they're being offered for the business community, talking with provincial and federal reps. But there might be some CAO visits in there as well. So we're just trying to come up with some creative ways to get information out to our businesses, keep them engaged, and let them know that we're here to help. So our door is always open. Our phone lines are always available for you. You guys all have our email addresses. You all have our cell phones. You have our landlines at work. Please reach out to us if you need any support or any help, because that's what we're here for. We work for you guys. So like, don't hesitate to reach out, because our program, our response is, and our recovery is constantly evolving. It's a fluid document. Every day is a new day and a new challenge, and we're just rolling with the punches and trying to help our business community be as successful as I possibly can. So I think that's it for my update. Is there any questions?
No, I think because you've pretty much covered everything there is to cover. That's fantastic. You guys have been busy. That's awesome. Thanks, Meredith.
Thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Meredith?
What was that podcast called?
The Perth County podcast.
Yeah, is that the title of it?
It is, yeah.
That's cool. No, I'm just gonna check that out.
Yeah, well, it hasn't, like, it's so Trish has been, actually, I need to give props to Trish. Sorry, I picked on Carla and Jeff during the session, and I didn't get to actually give some mad props to Trish, because Trish has been so amazing. Like, we literally post something and then she shares it immediately. And she's been so good at being on the ball of sharing all of our stuff. So it's Sarah, when Sarah launches it next week, I'm sure Trish and we'll make sure she gets it out. And the municipality as well has been so active on social media and getting our stuff out. So, and you can always sign up for our newsletter and you'll get the information immediately from us as soon as we launch it.
Perfect.
We're really excited about it.
Okay, thanks, Meredith. We'll, if there's nothing more, we'll move on to Jeff. Rick, you are up.
Okay, sure. I'll be real quick. I'm going to share my screen and just run through a few slides if I can share my screen. Yes, I can. Here we go. Can everyone see the screen I'm sharing? Hopefully you can. So is it sharing that screen? Can you even hear me? Yeah, okay,
yeah,
good.
we can hear you and we can see your screen.
All right. Yeah, I should just assume, right? So quickly, want to just mention, I can't say enough the work that Meredith and her team at County Economic Development and Tourism are doing. It just is one of the things that there's a lot to focus on during this event. And this is the kind of disaster that we're not picking up after a tornado or cleaning up after a flood. It's really an economic disaster. And we certainly, Meredith's team has had their eyes on that ball and working on the part of it. As a municipality, we're putting together an emergency recovery plan, and that emergency recovery plan is the next stage of emergency management. And a big part of that, obviously, is going to be the economic recovery, which will be a moving target because the team has been responding to changes as they happen. And I don't think that part could go any smoother. So it's obviously a terrible situation, but we are trying to support businesses as best we can. I want to just indicate that the municipal operations are continuing as best we can. We're really trying to, we've got a lot of the operation intact and operating, I'm not going to say as normal. We are adjusting to the COVID protocols. We have as few people working in the physical office as we can, but we're trying to keep the services going. And for the most part, we're trying to have it, those services that can be offered and safely offered for our workers and also safely for our community. We're trying to offer those, and the ones that we can't, we've taken them offline, and we will bring them back online when we feel that we can make them safe. And so stay tuned. One of the real flashpoint issues of this event has been access to the landfill. And it's a bit of a surprise to me how deeply ingrained that is with a community that has curbside pickup. But it is, I think, widespread that municipalities are feeling this, and we are we're doing planning in order to be able to get the landfill back open to the public. But we will be moving to a tap and pay kind of approach. So stay tuned for that. Carla, our communications, will be doing some promotion of that in the next few days. I want to just mention a couple of specific measures. We are encouraging businesses and residents to pay their taxes and utility bills. And you might be thinking, that's a funny thing for me to say, but we certainly want to be there to help people that are struggling, but I don't think we're being helpful if we encourage people to get behind because they still have to catch up. So the message that you're going to hear from the municipality is that we're encouraging people to pay if you can. And if you're struggling, then we would we'll work with you to connect with the treasurer and come up with a plan. It works for the business or for the residential property or agricultural property or whatever it is. We are waiving fees and interest during the declared emergency. Council has authorized that, and we want to do this for all the right reasons. Of course, it's at risk of being abused, but we're just trying to message that we're trying to help in any way we can, and this is a way that that we feel that we can soften the blow. So on the topic of COVID-19 and continued bad news, I want to mention that Walter and myself were advised of the closing of Continental AG, which many people know locally as Conitech in the former Cooper Standards. Pretty disappointed by that closing, and we weren't really, there was really no opportunity to find ways to help. The decision was frankly made by the time it got to Walter and I, to Mayor Walter and I, but we have communicated with the company. We've communicated with MP John Nader's office and MPP Pettipiece's office. And we know that there's work being done on retraining and providing access to resources. And we've made an offer to support wherever we can. And that support will come through economic development in terms of any opportunities we see, and also through my office here. So, I'll try to just do really quick updates on 3 or 4 sort of better news stories. Henry Street Bridge, this is a shot today of the pouring concrete, one of our local businesses with the concrete pump there, which is nice to see. This project is on schedule, and should be, that bridge should be opening in the fall. So it'll really change the travel patterns in our community, and it will be really good for our community. The West Perth Fire Hall project was initiated on May 1st as per schedule. We have the photo on the right here is a photo of the site works, which were started on that day, and that photo is as of noon today. They're working on the footings for the fire hall. We are very pleased with the site management and site maintenance so far, and we haven't had any surprises so far. When you're working in what is kind of a semi-brownfield site, it's not new development area, but there really wasn't ever much on these areas. we haven't found any surprises, and we're getting along well. So pleased with that project, and we'll have regular updates. The legacy project's completed. It's been seeded and topsoil seeded, and there's some stone picking to do out there. So if anybody would like to take a couple 5-gallon buckets and go out and socially distance and stone pick, if you haven't done enough on your own properties, there's an opportunity here. We're trying to get to it. But just typical stony topsoil that we got to clean up. And then that project, we just gotta let the grass grow. And finally, I want to give an update about the electric vehicle charging station. We've been advised by Earth that they were approved for their project for 2 electric vehicle charging stations. We heard from Council, BIA, and Economic Development that there was a strong desire to get the charging stations downtown, rather than as they were initially proposed by Earth up at the community center. So we've had them looking at the 2 parking spots in front of the Cenotaph. There may be a couple technical difficulties with that site. So we're just trying to confirm if that'll work, or if we're going to have to perhaps look at the corner of Quebec Street and St. Andrew Street as a possible compromise on that location. So working on it, there's obviously the operational, but there's also, you know, in terms of snow removal and things like that, but there's also the availability of hydro and the ease of connection and how much disruption of the infrastructure that's in place. So working on that, my hope is that we can make the 2 sites in front of the Cenotaph work, but we may have to go to that other location. And those are the updates I have, and I'm certainly prepared to answer any questions if there are any.
I know myself, I'm thrilled to hear that it's going downtown. Thank you, Jeff. I'm sure you had something to do with that. So that's amazing. Thank you for that. Anybody else have any questions for Jeff? Nope, we're good. Are we repaving St. George Street as well, Jeff?
So we received a letter
grant money?
from the Ministry of Transportation last week that we've been approved for a Connecting Link grant to do a top coat pave from Huron Street for the length of the Connecting Link. So I believe that'll go all the way out St. George, out almost as far as Ritz, if not to Ritz.
Right,
So,
right from downtown then, right?
Yeah, right from downtown. So it's the last piece of Connecting Link that we need to rehabilitate. It's only a top coat, but it's 90% grant. And I believe the provincial share of that is north of $500,000. So it's a great injection of cash into our community to improve our roads.
And the fact that it'll start at the lights just for downtown. Do we have a time frame for that? It's not going to be a big disruption. It'll be nice, but
yeah,
great time frame.
Great question. We had put it in the budget and anticipated doing it in 2020 if we got the funding. So Mike Kramer has been all over this with the applications and the work of making the application, and also the work of making the application successful. And those are 2 different things and 2 different unique tasks that have to be done. So Mike's on that, and yes, we will get that project done this summer or in the fall. Yeah,
this is good. Just like I said, it won't be a huge disruption downtown, but it will be a temporary just on the main, on that corner as they work that through. So that's good. That's nice to hear some good news as we navigate through all this. Okay. Does anybody have any more questions for Trish, for Jeff, Meredith, Walter, as he's sitting here? Anyone have any questions at all? And I think that's pretty much all that's on our meeting, other than the next our board meeting. Hello, Walter, welcome. We do need to decide when we'll do our next meeting. Normally it would be the first Wednesday, which Trish I don't have a calendar in front of me.
Yes, so the June meeting. Yep, sorry, the June meeting scheduled for June 3rd, the first Wednesday of the month. That's just in a few weeks, so we can continue with the schedule we've set for the year, or if you feel like we need to alter it, we can definitely alter it as well.
I would stick with the schedule if possible.
Yes, you're okay with that as well, Dustin? We'll stick with the June 3rd. Brent?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. We just get back on schedule here, just especially if we're going to start getting into a little bit of a, you know, a business supportive program. We should probably, that's only 3 weeks, is it, Tricia? Sorry, I don't have a calendar in front of me.
Yep.
Yeah, we should probably move ahead so that Trish can present us her ideas and we can get going forward. Yes?
Yes.
So June 3rd it is then. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Is there anything else? Walter, do you have anything to add? Nope.
No, not really.
Okay.
I just, I welcome the opportunity. I've been going to try and attend one of your meetings for the last year and a half or so. So tonight, this just gave me the perfect opportunity to sit in on one of your meetings.
Oh, great. That's good. Okay. So if there's nothing else, can I get a motion to adjourn? I've got Bert and seconded by Dustin. And everybody in favor? Yes, Brent?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And we are adjourned. And in a few minutes, our little live recording will go off. So thanks to everyone who watches.
See you later.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank
Well
you.
done, everyone. Good meeting.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thank you.
Hey, Carla, are you still lingering for a minute?
Yeah, she is.
I think we're still live. If you can just.
Everybody be patient for just a second. One of those awkward silences.
It's just taking a minute.